What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Caden.
And I'm Joey.
Joy.
Joy.
Joy. What are you doing, Joy?
Also known as
Nice.
Josephine Tappoli.
I think I have you in my phone contacts. I have you listed as Josephi Bernoulli. But you also never text me to my actual phone.
So it's just
We pretty much exclusively talk through Discord. The only time you've ever texted me on my phone. Actually, let me real quick.
Oh.
Let me real quick. I want to pull up the messages.
No, don't do it.
I want to see if there's anything actually fun here. Josephi Bernoulli. All right, so we're gonna. Wow. Okay, so there is a few messages here.
Okay.
The last time you texted me was let's see, June 9th, 2019.
Oh.
And then May 2019, April 2019.
So when we were basically living in the same town again.
And then March 2019. And then you texted me before that in November 2018. So the first text you ever send me is, my people have come for me, see you in January. And then you said, hey, what are the names for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro? And I feel entirely justified by my response, which was, pardon? And then you texted me, hey, are you at home? And I was at work.
Ah.
And then, let's see. You sent me a picture of fidget spinners that were at the Lego store.
Yeah.
These are
capsule, isn't it?
not exciting.
I need a time travel to figure out.
Oh, this was when you were in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's big when I was in college, and technically we lived in the same area again for a good hot minute. I think Discord was just coming up on the rise when we were doing this. So I hadn't used it yet. Oh no, I didn't have Discord until much later.
You texted me, wanted to check before I went to bed. When do plan to get here? Sorry, my info is spotty. It's a rough estimate for how long I'll take. And I responded, fucking what? Which I think is a phrase I've said to you at least once or twice a week since we started being friends.
Probably.
There's a lot of situations where you text me and I just don't know what you're saying.
No.
I feel like that's a very active part of our friendship.
No.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about video game remakes. Very specifically, we're going to talk about the new Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes, which Joey has not played.
I have not.
So he does not know the backlash.
I own Crystal. I own Crystal for Game Boy, which I think is from that era.
That is Game Boy Color.
Oh,
Crystal is Game Boy Color, isn't it?
I think.
Yeah. Diamond and Pearl were on the DS.
Oh.
You're skipping an entire generation of the Game Boy Advance.
But again, I own its moderate combination because Platinum is a part of that era then, right?
Yeah, Platinum is the remake combined expanded version of Diamond and Pearl.
Got it.
Yes.
I'm only like 3 levels in.
So, Pearl is my favorite Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It has a very compelling story. It has very well-written characters. The world is really well designed. The Pokédex is very nice as well. I love the starters, specifically Piplup, who is a very cute blue penguin.
I think Piplup's my starter.
Piplup is my favorite. I got art of my Fursona and Piplup together.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you've seen it on my streams. You haven't come to any of my Pokemon streams, have you?
I have not been on those. I've been busy.
Okay, well,
I think that was over Thanksgiving weekend you were doing some of those, so I was completely indisposed.
Oh yeah, I completely forget that we have different Thanksgivings again.
Yeah.
So here, I just sent it to you. There's the picture of me and my Piplup that my wonderful fiance drew for me.
All I see
If it'll ever send, Discord really doesn't like me. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
isn't
adorable.
it so cute? I love it. And I'm also working on writing a song based on Pokemon Pearl.
Nice.
Because that's what I do. So yeah, Pokemon Pearl is very well renowned as like one of the best in the series. Story-wise, I think the only Pokemon game that's topped it story-wise was Black and White.
Yeah.
Which they specifically, like, the story was such a focus in Black and White that they made Black and White 2.
Oh, yeah,
which is
that's
not
right.
a thing that ever has happened for Pokemon games before.
Yeah,
They never make sequels.
I think the list that they've technically made a sequel was the DLC for Sword and Shield.
But
think
that's
that's
not a
mostly
sequel.
just an expansion
That's a
instead of
DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that being said, people were very excited for the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, which, they remake the Pokemon games in order. They do the remakes in between each of the new games.
Yeah.
Which the new game's coming out next year, Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a new game set in the same world as Diamond and Pearl, but it is set in the past.
In the time period where you could bang your Pokemon.
I mean, you can do that in any time period, can't you?
Yes,
but
I
anyway,
think it's illegal in every in the current times you play Pokemon, while Legends Arceus technically takes place in the time period that is suspiciously the time where it was definitely okay to do so.
Anyway,
If there's
not to
a
drift
banging
too off
mechanic, I
topic
am
too
out.
Basically, so the remakes bridge the gap between the new games. Sword and Shield came out. Now we have the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and then we're getting Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is a open world, sort of Breath of the Wild style game, but it's Pokemon, and I'm very excited for it.
Yes,
especially to see more of the world of the Sinnoh region, which is my favorite. So a good thing to note for this conversation is the fact that the fan base is, once again, as they always are, completely divided.
Absolute darn tootin'. I just while we were talking, I remembered I do remember the small bit of controversy because I haven't heard about the recent stuff, but I remember when they first I was seeing memes of the new Dawn design, which was, and then everyone was using it as their overall complaint of the new style in general. And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a fun one, isn't it?
So here's the thing: they designed the game to be a 1-to-1 recreation of Diamond and Pearl on the DS.
Yeah.
Because every time they've done remakes before, they've been so drastically different from the original that most of the complaints were the fact that we just wanted a new version of this game on a newer console so that we can play it, so that new generations can play it, because whatever, right?
Yeah.
The whole typical reason why remakes happen.
Yeah.
In the case of Diamond and Pearl, they are such well-renowned games in the fandom that, to try and remake these in the style of Sword and Shield would have gone so wrong.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine the people got pissed off when Alpha Sapphire and the other one, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Omega Ruby. There we go. When those were the GBA games that got remade in 3D on the 3DS.
Yeah.
In the same engine as Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
And those were really good remakes, but they weren't the same, right? They didn't have the same charm that the original had, because the original was small and cute and it was just like unique, whatever. And then the remake was like, all right, we're amping up everything, we're putting in mega evolutions, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're gonna make these games as big as they can possibly be, even though they're Game Boy Advance games being remade, right?
Yeah.
So people got pissed because they were like, but we wanted Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and now we have this whole other thing. It feels like a whole different experience, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, people that are having these arguments are just angry that their nostalgia isn't exactly what they remember it being. And I think in that case, Pokemon games are widely accessible enough where if you really want to play the old one, fucking play it. That's my opinion on that. Like, oh, I don't want to play the remakes of Red, Blue, and Green on the Switch because Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee play more like Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you have a fair amount of options. How about you get a copy of Pokemon Blue or Red or Green or Yellow, all of which are very widely accessible because you are able to just get those on the 3DS, or you can go to any used game store. They're guaranteed to have it. Or if you're, a person that isn't against the idea, emulators exist.
Yeah. I mean, I think I recently bought Platinum or something. But recently, like 4 years ago. But, like, it was way out of circulation by that point when I bought it, so...
Well, yeah, it's a DS game. But my point is that old Pokemon games were so widely successful that they are widely available.
Yeah.
That's my point. And even so, if you still have a 3DS, you can get all of the old Pokemon games from Blue and Red all the way up through Gold and Silver and Crystal. You can get all of those on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And on the new 3DS. And I'm pretty sure that you can get most of the Game Boy Pokemon games on the Wii U.
I think so.
Of course, they're not available on the Switch because Nintendo's stupid about that shit, but that's not the point of the conversation. And also emulators, come on. Just like Nintendo themselves uses emulators these days. Just do it. Just do it. There is no moral high ground here. There never has been.
Yeah,
We've all just pretended there was. Any way that you buy retro games these days, besides like when they do eventually release them on newer platforms, buying it at a used game store gives Nintendo just as much money as using an emulator does.
Yeah.
You're not supporting the small indie developers known as Nintendo by buying a 20-year-old game at a used game store.
I mean, to be fair, I have my own reasons for doing that than emulating, and that's usually just I want to use whatever device
I do it for
it was
collection's
on
sake.
originally, but
I do it for collection's sake. I do it because I would like to have a like legally owned copy of the game. I do it for the fact that I love Pokemon games, so I own Pokemon games, right?
Yeah.
If I can find it and I know it's something I'll play and stuff like that, I'm gonna fucking get it.
I think I own a game physically, but I play it on my PC more because I bought it there first, and now I just have the copy just there.
Yeah. So that's that part. Okay, so basically, moral of this little tangent.
Yeah.
People wanted the remakes of these older Pokemon games to not be as massively different from the original.
Yeah.
So, this is the first time that Game Freak has listened to that. And they decided to make a literal 1-to-1 scale remake of Diamond and Pearl. And so essentially, if you were literally to overlay the screen of the Switch and the screen of the DS game with each other, the 3D models would compare exactly to the size of the sprites in the original game. The tiles, the floor tiles are the same size. The whatever, everything. The thing that they did add things to the game, but those things are more like little bonus features rather than whole aspects of the game, like what they added to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. With the whole like huge extra story stuff, the mega evolutions, the bigger Pokedex, the whatever. They were just like, hey, we will add some aspects of Platinum into this. We will expand the after credits part of the game. We will expand a part that people really enjoyed, which was the Grand Underground, which is a part where you get to burrow into this massive like underground labyrinth that's under the entire region, and you can create secret bases, and you can hunt Pokemon down there, and you can battle with other trainers down there. They expanded that so much, and it is massive now, and it's really fun. And there's like rooms in there that work like the open world areas in Sword and Shield, but they're small and they're contained, right? So it doesn't feel like this huge thing. And it's just nice. It's a good addition. It's really well done. But then, even though it's a faithful recreation, people are still angry. And the main reason why people are so angry is because it's so accurate to the original.
How dare you give me a complete...
How dare you give me exactly what I fucking asked for?
So I think that's what we call the Pokemon problem, though.
It is.
It's literally...
I believe it's exclusively a problem with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because... Okay, let me let you in on a little secret here.
Okay, let me in on this.
When someone is so ingrained in nostalgia, they can't respect something new. And when someone wants something new, they disrespect nostalgia. Does this check out?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe what's happening here is people are seeing the fact that the game is like, it's 3D and whatever, and the art style is really simple, and we have these chibi models for the overworld, and stuff like that. And then, in the original game, there weren't cutscenes, because obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And so in this new game, there's also not cutscenes, but rather during some dialogue segments, the camera will be at a different zoomed in angle.
Okay.
So it's still not a cutscene, but they essentially play it out like it is by putting the camera at a different angle.
Got it.
But in doing this, you see the chibi models much closer up. From far away, they look good.
Oh no.
But every time the camera zooms in, you see them up close.
Oh no.
Right?
But
And so essentially you have these giant Funko Pop bobblehead looking fucks that take up entire halves of the screen when the camera zooms in.
yeah.
And you're trying to have a serious conversation with like the main villain of the game or whatever, who at this point is not intimidating whatsoever.
I've seen. I watched a Ruse stream. I've seen how this looks, and
So there's this one section in particular at the very end of the game when you're like at the end of the game fighting the legendaries, going on with like the main villain of Team Galactic and whatever, and this character that in the original game, his pixel art,
yeah.
even from a distance, you were intimidated.
Okay.
Right? And now, the camera zooms in on his fucking Nendoroid face, and you see that up close. And it's not intimidating. It's kind of gross to look at, in fact.
Oh no.
So people are like, okay, well, don't remake all of the graphics to be, whatever, but during the battle sections, they have such nice looking models of every character. So how come when the cameras zoom in, you didn't switch to the better models?
That's what I was actually just thinking about. Why isn't it? Why are we
So
doing the
that's
usual
what
higher
people are
res thing,
complaining
too?
about. People are like, oh, this game is so ugly because we have to look at these things all the time. But the fact of the matter is, from far away, it looks great.
Yeah.
Because it's the one-to-one of what we already
I'm
knew.
wondering if Link's Awakening has a similar thing, or are their models because their models are,
Link's
are doing
Awakening,
the same thing, aren't they?
The entire game for Link's Awakening is made to look like little toys.
Okay.
So, because stylistically Link's Awakening has that look to it,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like in Link's Awakening, that's perfectly fine. It's that would be the same thing as like comparing, like, yes, when I play Wind Waker, it looks great, but when it zooms closer to their faces, I wish it looked more like Twilight Princess. For Zelda games, that doesn't make sense. Those are stylized very specifically.
Okay.
For Pokemon,
I used Awakening just because it kind of is. It was one-to-one inspired by the sprites, and I guess they put a lot more work into being able to make that all look good no matter how you look at it.
Exactly. Well, and same thing with Link Between Worlds. You've played that.
Yeah. Link Between Worlds also has. They do some weird close-ups where you're like, okay, but it's done just enough that.
But also, it's
big
stylized, and it's also on the 3DS, so it doesn't feel as bad.
So I played it on a computer. I'd have a different take on all that.
well, exactly, and you can play Link Between Worlds on the computer because the emulator for the 3DS has been getting a lot better over time. But anyway, people are like, well, okay, this could have been one thing they could have done to make the game visually more appealing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it would have been an easy thing. They obviously already have the models because you see them during the fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about the only part of this that I've seen that's like a valid criticism.
Oh, are we gonna get into the Last Ballad now? Oh no.
The less valid, people are complaining that in this version of the game you can have your Pokemon walk behind you as you're going around the world.
Okay, yeah.
Which is something that a lot of Pokemon games have been adding recently. I believe that
like it.
started that started with Sun and Moon, if I'm correct.
So,
But I haven't played Sun and Moon, but I first used it in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu because
yeah.
they allowed you to do that in that
So
one.
it's become more common in those games. I don't like where like when they started doing it more. Technically, the Pokemon's walking behind you is as old as the games because I think Yellow has Pikachu actually follow you, but that was like a gimmick. Well, now they're trying to make
that's
it
specifically
the
because
primary
in
style
Yellow,
now.
they remade Red, Blue, and Green to be the anime.
Yeah.
So Yellow is literally you're just playing as Ash Ketchum. So of course, because Ash never puts his Pikachu in the ball, why would you in Yellow?
Yeah.
But that's different.
I get like I said it was probably more of a gimmicky thing at the time, but maybe I don't know. It's something I'm like I wish they continued to do that because that's just nice. I also played Digimon where all the Digimon games basically had them follow behind you and it's just really adorable.
Yeah.
So.
The reason why it wasn't a thing very much in many of them is because a lot of the Pokemon are huge.
Yeah.
And when your game is tile based, how do you accurately make an Onix follow behind you?
Wait, is that why everyone's complaining about the whale following you?
Yeah, so here's the thing. For a real quick example, a Rayquaza is a legendary Pokemon from Emerald. He is this massive floating green and red snake creature. He's fucking huge. He is gargantuan. You know what happens when he follows behind you? You know what happens when he follows behind you in this game?
Oh, yeah?
He transforms into a tiny green sperm.
I gotta look at some of these. These sound really funny.
You have an Onix follow behind you. It is a small snake. A small rock snake. You have like a fucking I don't know. My Piplup is fully evolved into an Empoleon.
Yeah.
And he is a massive fucking penguin.
Oh, yeah. They're like...
He's only half the size of Dawn's chibi sprite.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So another part of the complaints is like, okay, if you're going to make the entire overworld of the game chibi, why didn't you do that with the Pokemon as well?
Yeah. Rescale
because now stylistically,
a smart idea.
Now stylistically, none of this meshes on the overworld.
Yeah.
Which okay, good point. Okay, saying that, they could have gone the route where that would be a lot of things to turn into chibi models.
But also, we're having the smart conversation. They just don't like it at all, though.
Yeah. So here's the next part, though. Okay, you could make the chibi models of just the starter Pokemon. And those are the ones that can follow you. Okay, but some people don't want to just have the starter Pokemon follow them. Understandable.
Yeah.
And that would leave like a lot of people unable to like connect with their favorites and stuff like that. Okay, so just allow everyone access to all of them, put them in their full models. That's still having their full models in the overworld still then clashes with the fact that when you zoom in on a cutscene, that is still the chibi models of all the people, but the full models of the Pokemon. Okay, so you see how this is all clashing now.
Yeah.
and so people are angry because you can have one but not the other. Isn't that just a joy?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a lot of reasons why people are angry.
Okay, so
when the original trailer came out, people were mad because the an obviously like not close to being finished game wasn't finished.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, this doesn't look very good visually." The final game comes out, all the textures are finished, the playable characters are remodeled. There's like extra like fog and bloom filters and extra lighting effects. Okay, it looks fine now.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Oh, so I just wanted to, because we didn't. I don't know if we actually went over the actual how the Pokemon problem actually worked. Because I think you gave the good simple version of it, and I was gonna go over the part where if Pokemon, when people play Pokemon, they either expect the exact same game or a game with expansion to it.
Yeah.
So my best example, I guess, of this in a fan base liking this is Spyro.
Yeah.
Right? Every game in the original trilogy was basically the same, but it expanded upon it. The problem is in Pokemon, because of the way Pokemon is as an RPG styled game, doing any of that is going to cause some discourse.
Yeah.
Because it could be an expansion, but then someone doesn't like how the new system works, and so on and so forth, or how things have been relayed out. Even if it was technically better than the originals, they're used to how that one played before.
Yeah.
So that's the primary part of the Pokemon problem is if it wants to improve itself, it's going to be bad. And if it doesn't improve itself, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And so...
pretty much.
So every time I hear something's wrong with a Pokemon game, I'm like, oh, yay!
Every time I hear something's wrong with a Pokemon game, I'm like, okay, but is it actually wrong, though? Or are you just upset because you think that your opinion matters?
Yeah. And so far, we've been talking about, like, the actual, objectively, here's what's good, here's what's bad about it.
Yeah. So, like, I love these remakes.
Yeah.
They're everything that I wanted them to be. Because what I wanted was to play Pokemon Pearl on my fucking Nintendo Switch. And I can do that. And it looks good. It plays exactly like Pokemon Pearl. It has its little flaws here and there, like the touchscreen of the DS.
Oh yeah.
Had the Poke Watch on it, and since there's no touchscreen, there's no second screen on the Switch. They have it as a box in the top right corner.
Oh.
If you're playing in handheld, you can press it like the touchscreen with your thumb.
Okay.
But when you're playing in TV mode, you have to awkwardly use a cursor with your thumbstick.
Oh no.
And there's things on it like a notepad. You can like monitor your Pokemon in there. You can use a radar to find hidden items, stuff like that. And controlling all that with a cursor and your thumb is very awkward. But obviously, without the second screen of the DS, they had to find a way to make that work.
Is this something that they should have made a remake for this for the Wii U then, because they wouldn't have this problem?
Yeah, but the problem is that Pokemon games were exclusively made for handhelds, except for spin-offs.
Okay, yeah. Well,
and since the Switch is Nintendo's handheld, that's why they've been making bigger Pokemon games finally. The last time they made a console Pokemon game was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the GameCube. And that game was very poorly received.
Got it. Yeah.
I personally love Gale of Darkness. I think it has a lot of charm.
Yeah.
But I've come to I've come to terms with the fact that my opinion doesn't matter to anybody besides myself. So, anyway.
So, my final thought on that is it's basic, like how when you were describing it, I'm like, it's like the reverse of what happened to the Ocarina of Time remakes.
Yeah.
Because,
But again, that's Zelda.
Yeah, I know. So basically, what's funny about them, because they were both, so for the Zelda, it actually got a lot of problems that the very small problems that was playing those both was Ocarina and Majora, which is like trying to use your items and things. It was a lot clunkier when it was on the N64, but on the DS, it's very nice and very easy to organize and things like that.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with those 3 Pokemon games. They're so well integrated with how the DS worked on being able to put that information on a secondary screen, and once you put it on something that has only one screen, it has now become as clunky as the original Ocarina of Time and Majora are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, in the topic of remakes, though, Zelda also hasn't had the best run of those. Because there was... Wind Waker was fine when it got re-released on the Wii U.
Yeah.
The additions and changes they made to that one was great, and the game looked gorgeous and all that. Twilight Princess had issues. It played fine. It had a few very weird button layouts.
Yeah.
But essentially, instead of porting the Wii version, they ported the GameCube version. Because Twilight Princess did come out on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And they did a few quality of life things, but then they also changed things that made the game visually worse, and they did a few things that just kind of fucked it up a little bit. I still prefer playing the Wii version over playing the Wii U version. Just for various reasons. And then Skyward Sword, that is the worst HD re-release I've ever played in my goddamn life.
Oh no. And that's not a liked game to begin with, is it?
I love Skyward Sword on the Wii.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword on the Wii plays so well. The motion controls are so integrated. I don't know what the fuck people's problem is with motion controlled games on the Wii besides the typical Wii Sports and shit like that.
Yeah.
When a game tries to have really integrated motion controls, people always have a problem with it on the Wii.
Which
but
is weird because
for
I
me,
can name a couple other game consoles that have way worse motion controls than the Wii.
Oh yeah, like the PS3.
The Wii has its problems, but I was rewatching John Tron's Star Wars one.
Oh, the Kinect.
With the Kinect, and I'm like, you know what? At least the Wii, it was a 75% success rate, unlike this thing.
Yeah. But okay, so my thing with motion controls on the Wii is people complain so much about Skyward Sword having terrible motion controls. I played through the entirety of Skyward Sword and loved the motion controls. I loved every second of playing that game on the Wii.
I would
because
love to play
it
that
was
on the
so
Wii.
accurate 1-to-1. And literally, if it was ever off slightly, you click a button and it resets it to default position.
I mean,
there was literally no fuck up.
Yeah. And
now on the Switch, if you're playing in motion controls, holy shit. There's no sensor bar.
That's weird.
There's no sensor bar. You're doing all the motion controls on one of your Joy-Con. The controller layout between the Wii Remote and Nunchuck to the two Joy-Cons is fucking strange.
Oh no.
You have to hold down a button and use the right thumbstick in order to change the camera, rather than just using the right thumbstick like you would in any 3D game. But the Wii Remote didn't have a right thumbstick. So they didn't know how to integrate camera controls into a game that has two thumbsticks. Oh, no. You know what they could have done? Could have given it,
map it like it
any
was
sort
from
of
the Wii.
similar controls to any other Zelda game.
Oh.
But then the reason why you have to hold down the button and do the right thumbstick is because now your right thumbstick is entirely devoted to your motion-controlled sword play. No. So you do all of your attacks with the thumbstick.
No. Don't do that. Wait. Hold on. And here's the software developer person in me. They had such an easy way of just to port, I don't know, like, the actual coding wise and what they probably had to change. But, like, they just ported how the Wii controls work, which was the thumb thing for moving and the other one for just for swinging it around for attacking. They could have been able to make it, I don't know what the term is.
Yeah, but the problem is
if they wanted to.
ARM bilingual. Both of my hands speak English.
Okay, so hold on.
What are you on about?
Okay, so my point is...
Bilingual is language, Joey.
Okay, I get it. Hold on. So, point is, because if they just did the Wii controls, you could basically, because there's two Joy-Cons, you could switch whichever arm you're dominant with.
Yeah, but
so you could either swing with a left-handed
point
sword
is,
or a
though,
right-handed
that
sword.
people are more than likely to play without motion controls or to play with a pro controller, or something like that. That's my point.
Okay.
Is they did that for the people that aren't using the motion controls.
Got it. Okay.
Which is a lot of people.
Weird. It's weird hearing a game that had pretty good motion controls on the Wii having a very terrible time having controls at all on a thing that also technically has motion controls that aren't the worst motion controls.
The Switch has pretty good motion controls.
And I only know the Switch's motion controls because there's only been one game I played with it which is ARMS, and it felt very nice to play that game with its motion controls. So I know it doesn't have bad motion controls. So somebody fricked up hard on that remake.
And then on top of that, the graphics in the Skyward Sword HD are fucking awful.
Oh yikes! I haven't seen.
They literally, there's parts on like the edges of Link's chainmail. He wears chainmail under his tunic, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so there's sections on. Everybody that comes from the academy in Skyward Sword wears those tunics.
Yeah.
They all wear chainmail underneath it. The thing is that these motherfuckers, they have a transparent texture on the end of the chainmail. They didn't make it transparent.
No, they did.
So there's there's a dark black outline on the edge of its chainmail that looks terrible. All of there's like a bunch of textures that are supposed to be like blended or transparent that just have black on the edge of them because they just straight up didn't. There's a lot of textures in the game that are like they're up-resed but like in a way that doesn't work.
Yeah.
You could tell they used like an AI to up-res a lot of things.
Oh no.
There's certain parts of it where it's like, you know, I don't want to say the polygon count is too high or whatever, but things just don't look smooth at all. There's like, I don't know. There's a lot of problems with it.
I'm trying to find.
Oh yeah, that's another one. You know how in Skyward Sword you're like in the town that's in the sky, right? And then you go down to the earth.
Yes.
Yeah, the edges of the clouds that lead down to the surface world are sharp.
Oh.
Like, sharp. Like, it looks like if you were to fall on those clouds, it would be like fucking tripping off a skate ramp and just like biffing your leg on clouds. Yeah, no, it looks really bad.
Oh.
Um,
I'm trying to look
and then like their like quality of life improvements to the game are like very minimal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not gonna rip on Skyward Sword anymore.
Okay.
It's,
Well, I was gonna
the
wait,
Switch
so
version's awful.
I tried finding this chainmail thing because that's and I got like I got this website that says Skyward Sword deserved a remake, not a remaster.
Meh. I'm a bit on the fence about that.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not that old of a game.
Yeah.
But let me just I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of this for you.
Yeah. So, in the idea of good remakes, but also, well, I guess good games make good remakes as well. But like, the Spyro and the Crash Band, actually, yeah, basically all three of the remakes for Spyro and Crash are really good.
Ugh, look at this shit.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
It's so gross.
Oh no, it is.
It's so gross.
It makes it look like his underwear is poking out.
Well, and then on his arm as well.
Oh no.
Like, that chainmail is literally just a cylinder with a texture on it.
Yes, it is.
And then it's like, it's not a well done texture either.
No.
Yeah, you see my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's various things that just look really bad. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Stylistically, it could have looked good.
Yeah.
And they really did nothing to make it look good. Anyway, that's my story.
That's my story. All about how the remakes are remaked.
Yup. Hey, did you guys know that if you at me or Joey on Twitter, that's at WereWING11 or at AgentN107, you can ask us questions that we can answer on the podcast.
Yes.
I don't have like a hashtag or anything for it because I barely get any Twitter interaction. But if you just want to at us and ask us some questions for the podcast.
I mean, they could at and then have like in it say what's poppin' so we could like.
Yeah. And yeah. Did you know that I'm part of another podcast called JamaCast, which has its own YouTube channel. It's JAMA Cast. And that is a podcast that we do very infrequently with Jonathan Higgins and Legend Red of Cyber Soup. And it is a very good time whenever we record them. The last one took about 10 months to come out. So we're not gonna worry about that one too much. But I don't know when or if we're ever going to record that again. So we'll see. Also, on topic,
Yes.
what do you have like a remake or remaster that you wish that they would make?
See, you ask that, but they already made it.
What's that?
The Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Okay, I'm talking about something that hasn't been made.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. So basically,
You play other games besides
super excited
Spyro.
to get remakes. You know, they happened in the last like 3 or 4 years, which was Spyro and Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, but I'm
So
talking
I'm
like
covered.
other
I'm
games.
technically
Other
covered.
other games. You play other games.
Well, okay. So there was Tomb Raider, but again, they did that twice actually.
Yeah, twice. They just released the new remake.
Oh wait,
recently.
they released no. So the very first Tomb Raider game had one remake. Then it had a PSP Legends remake, and then they had the Anniversary remake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So they've had a lot of remakes of that first game, oddly enough.
Yeah.
So it's very weird. I can't think of like some games off like the top of my head that I've played. And most of the times when I want a remake of something, it's more like, well, the game has now gone off into the Etherlands, and I'll probably have to spend way too much money to play it now. Hopefully they'll make a good remake of it that's at least, normal retail price. And now I can play it again.
You know what I would love?
What do you want?
And this is vastly like obscure, something they wouldn't do in a million fucking years. But I want it so goddamn bad.
What is it?
I want a remake, from scratch remake, for new consoles, for high-end PCs, with fucking incredible graphics. Lego Island 1 and 2 combined.
That's not a bad idea.
I want that so fucking much.
I know I watched someone did not like Lego. Apparently, people don't like Lego Island 2. But truthfully, as someone who only played Lego Island 2 and just hated that the loading time was sucky, I would like to have a remake of both.
I think remaking them and putting both of them into one game
would help.
and then like just expand the island, the amount of things you can do on it. Put in a bunch of side quests, make it like a big like integrated experience like that of kind of like Lego City.
Ooh.
Like that kind of like world experience.
Yeah.
But don't make it as shitty as Lego City. Because that game fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But just a fully integrated next gen console, like just fun experience. I want to play as Pepper, and I want to ride my skateboard across Lego Island with fucking ray tracing.
I just want to slap people with pizza on my skateboard again.
Can you imagine how goddamn fun that would be?
Yeah.
Ah.
We made our own fun when it came to Lego Island 2, no matter what they did.
You know what else I want remade? I'm not big into sports games.
Okay.
But SSX3 is the best snowboarding game ever made. If they gave that the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake treatment,
Yeah.
holy shit. I would love that.
Okay. People might hate me for this one, but I did think of one that I used to play a lot. I only played the demo of it because that's all I had. But it would be interesting to get a remake of the Monsters Inc. game.
What the fuck? You're bringing a licensed game into this?
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. like for the PS2?
I think it was. I think it's called. It's Monsters Inc. Scare Island. I think it's called.
What the fuck?
And
what
it's
is
similar
this?
to like how Spyro is in its design, gameplay design.
Monsters Inc. Scare. Wow, I can't spell. Scare Island. Computer game.
I might be
What the
misremembering what it was called.
There's Scare Island. There's Scream Team.
It's Scream Team.
Scream Team for the original PlayStation. What the fuck is this?
So this was
That's
originally
very strange.
wait, let me double check. This is what I think it is. Yeah. That's what I think it is. So this originally was the backstory. Oddly, funny enough, this was the backstory lore of how Sully and Mike trained to be scarers before the college movie came out.
Holy shit!
I don't remember how much story they actually have in it, but I remember this being a fun go to a world, get your screams in, move on kind of thing.
In this game, you play as Sully or Mike. Your mission is to scare kids and collect screams. This is a platform-based game where you take your monster and explore the many worlds of Monster Island. Not the one Godzilla lives on, too bad. You must collect jars of primordial ooze, which fills up your scare meter. As you collect more ooze, you have the ability to scare different colored children. What? What? What?
I come on. It's it's a moderately fun time all around. Sometimes, if for some way we can get this game, we should totally let's play it. It's
just the wording on that is so bad.
Scare the children. Wait, was this already remade at one point? Wait.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
Wait, it was made for the PS1, and then they had an actual PS2 remake.
Holy shit. Yeah, so funny enough, the website I clicked on to look at this game.
Yeah.
It's IGN.com, an article talking about the release of this game. This article came out November 2001.
Wow.
I forgot IGN has been around since like the 90s.
Yeah.
Apparently this article got updated at some point.
Oh.
And the last time this article was updated was May 2012.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wait, I'm getting real curious now.
Oh, here's some screenshots.
Like it's not like it has. Like,
there's only 2 screenshots.
The graphics have not aged the greatest, either of them.
Yeah, it's a PS1 game.
IGN
IGN gave this game a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I've only watched one video that really hated on this game, but I remember enjoying it for the most part. It's an ungoshly difficult game in places.
Ungoshly.
Wait, no, I did play the whole game. I know I played the whole game. I know I played it down, but I remember playing levels that you couldn't play.
So, this game is available on PC, PlayStation 1, PSP, and PS3.
Oh. So wait, that means it had to have other remakes, or at least a port, right?
Monsters Inc. Scare Island is also...
a sequel? Wait, now I gotta remember.
It's like an expanded version.
Okay.
For the PS2, I believe.
Oh.
Anyway, that's not my point. I'm not doing research on this. This is stupid. Anyway.
But yeah, this is one of my picks.
Love that. What an interesting pick. Yeah, I'd love them to do an HD PS5 remake of Toy Story 3 for the PSP.
Oh,
that'd be so great. No, I'm kidding. Over the Hedge for the GameCube. If I had to pick like one of my favorite licensed games that I would love a remake of, there you go.
I shouldn't have opened that portal because I should have seen that one.
Oh my god, dude. We didn't even think of like a classic game that we played together.
Oh, we didn't.
Digimon World 3.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, / Digimon World games in general. They all deserve remakes. But Digimon World 3 specifically.
They're still making games, so I'm amazed that they haven't remade any.
I wonder if they... Let me check. Digimon World Remakes. Digimon World Remake. Let's see.
Because I know they have their own like mini fan base.
Fans have been remaking Digimon World.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah. There's a few YouTubers that have a group making a remake of Digimon World, the original. Somebody has been working on a remake of Digimon World in Dreams for the PS4.
Ooh.
Which actually looks pretty good. He spent like over 100 hours of development on it.
Darn. I'll man, I played too many licensed games.
That's very
Spider-Man
fun.
is technically a licensed game, right?
Well, I mean, technically,
Technically, isn't because the one I'm thinking of.
though
is the
I was
original...
seeing people really wanted a remake of Spider-Man, like the PS1 game.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 on PS1. Those are good.
I would love them to do like a re-amazing thing with them or something, like make it one game, like they did with Spyro.
Yeah.
And
I saw someone specifically mentioning like the Neversoft Spider-Man game, the first one for the PS1, remade for modern consoles, and then add in the Venom gameplay from Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
As like a side thing. That I saw someone talking about that literally like 2 days ago.
Question.
Yes.
Why is Spider-Man never soft?
Because he can't get it up.
No.
Wait.
If he's never soft, that means he's always rock hard.
Webcock. Anyway.
He's been following Black Cat for way too long.
Anyway. Well.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, wait. I'm trying to think.
You're trying to think of what?
Oh, I can't. Yeah, we can't say Kingdom Hearts because that basically always gets remade.
Kingdom Hearts has been re-released on everything.
Alright, I keep thinking of
Finally.
ones because I'm thinking of it would be cool to get War for Cybertron, or Fall for Cybertron video game.
Never mind. We can say Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry. Where the fuck is a new playable version of 358 Days Over 2? How come that is the only, that and Recoded, I guess, are the only games in the franchise that you can only play on their original console?
Oh, no.
They were not released on anything except for the DS. They remade Chain of Memories for the PS2 and then released that remake on everything in existence. They released all of the other games on everything in existence. They re-released Birth by Sleep, a PSP exclusive, on everything. Tell me why the fuck we haven't gotten a remake of 358 Days Over 2, which is my personal favorite in the franchise. Why? Why have they remastered and remade everything except for that? I don't care about Recoded. Recoded also, by the way, was a remake of a game for the flip phone.
Wait, they did that?
Need I fucking mention that? Recoded for the DS. Whenever they put re before a title on a Kingdom Hearts game, that means that it was remade.
Okay.
Yeah, the original Kingdom Hearts Coded was on the fucking flip phone. Anyway. Yeah. Bullshit. Give me 358 Days. I love that game. I want to get my heart broken by that game time and time again in 4K.
I to this day remember us like just sitting in the school hallway playing that.
It's so good. Anyway,
You're the reason I have
yeah,
depression.
that's it. That's my wishes.
Can we get the Minecraft remake?
Ha! Yeah, remake it with higher graphics. Anyway, well, I think that's about it for this podcast.
Yeah.
I got very heated at the end there.
Have we sown the proper chaos and tone that we wanted for this?
I believe so.
We didn't tangent as much as I thought we would.
Not as much.
We'll give
Still
it time.
a little. A little bit of tangent as a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall, Pokemon fans complain too much.
That's the lessons to
Remakes and re-releases, remakes, whatever, will always have their flaws. And nostalgia makes people blind to what's good, and wanting something brand new out of something that is old makes people disrespect nostalgia. I believe that.
And the only way to really be a true remake continuation of a thing is when you're a spiritual successor.
Yeah, pretty much. These days, you're not wrong. All right.
But you're not the
Well, there we
direct
go.
descendant. Everyone's like, well, you're cool because you don't have those expectations thrusted upon you.
Yeah, right? I feel like the only time that that's properly worked out was Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause
It's a sequel, but
It's with
it
Digimon.
was finally something new that some people wanted again.
Ah. Oh, right. Those all took a while to get there.
Yeah, because it was originally made by Rare, but Rare is owned by Microsoft, so they couldn't figure out how to make a new Donkey Kong game for a while. So instead, we got Donkey Konga 2, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, DK King of Swing, just fucking garbage games.
Wait, I just realized, because you mentioned Rare, and I'm like, oh yeah, if we ever actually get that Banjo 3, boy howdy, and it's like the other two games, it will be bought 100%.
Yeah.
Because those
Though
people are desperate
I'm in
at this point.
that like small group of people that does not hate Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game.
Oh, okay.
It's not a good game. It's
Wait,
not a bad game.
Are we getting a Banjo-Kazooie remake?
No.
That actually
Not that
wouldn't be a
anyone
bad
knows
idea.
of. They're making a new Perfect Dark finally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
What?
Okay, I know that we're like ending things, but I just remembered the funniest story I've ever heard about remakes, which was the squirrel.
Conquer?
Yeah, Conquer. They made a Conquer remake.
Yeah.
The problem is you had to make it. It was so
No,
like,
they made a sequel to Conquer.
yeah.
that was yeah, but that was also like not a massive thing. That was a small thing so they could show off how their other thing worked. That wasn't like a real Conquer experience. Though it was fun.
I still find it funny how someone put it, was like, Microsoft just said, here you go, make your own Conquer remake, and it's like, okay, wait, guys, this...
Yeah, they did remake Conquer. Because it was an N64 game, then they remade it for the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I really like that version of Conquer, but it's not as good as the original. And then they did do a Conquer sequel, but yeah, like you said, it was made in something completely else. I forgot what it's called. But it's fun. It's Conquer. It's not very, like, big, but it's certainly a Conquer game.
Oh.
And then in doing that, they give people the assets from Conquer to make their own thing with it. So, yeah. Anyway, Moral of the story.
Moral of the story. Get ready. We apparently do have Banjo-Kazooie for the Switch, so.
It's not a remake though. It's
just a port.
It's literally just on the N64 online service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that big a deal.
Okay. Never mind.
Like, it's a big deal because it's Banjo-Kazooie.
But
then you could also count that, like,
when it's gonna happen.
You could also be like, oh, it's a really big deal that Paper Mario is also being added to that service. When really, in reality, it's not, because they re-released the first Paper Mario and everything. And yet somehow we still haven't had a new Paper Mario Thousand Year Door related thing since 2002. So, anyway.
Things are... There are
the one that
prices
people really like in the franchise. But it's fine, we got the Origami King.
Me trying
Anyway,
to end
I'm not salty.
Notes, we keep finding negative
I'm not
notes
salty.
to end things
I just
on.
I want them to remake Thousand Year Door. That's what I want. I want Thousand Year Door in the art style of Color Splash and the Origami King. I feel like that would just be the most gorgeous game they could ever release on the Switch.
Yeah.
And that being said, that's the end of our podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. No matter what you're listening to this on, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's Anchor, whether it's Spotify, thank you very much for tuning in. And, like I said earlier, be sure to find us on Twitter. That's at WereWING11 and at Agent N107. Yeah. And ask us some questions for a future episode of the podcast. We're going to try and make these bi-weekly. Which means every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not twice a week, but every 2 weeks we will have one episode. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great life. Drive safe.
This is the lamest outro I've ever been a part of.
Shut the fuck up. Have a good time. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this outro.
Make sure you don't pop your own spine out or something.
Yeah. Don't commit arson either.